Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, so today we're looking at something pretty unique.
Yeah.
The final chapter of the Book of Enoch,
All right.
and we're starting specifically with chapter 96.
Okay.
And I think this will be especially interesting for anyone who's ever, wondered about ancient prophecies,
Right.
especially those kind of outside of the traditional, biblical canon.
Exactly. We're in the realm of what's called apocryphal literature here.
Right.
So it's not part of the standard Bible,
Okay.
but it's still incredibly significant historically and religiously,
Uh-huh.
and offers this whole other perspective on the apocalypse and humanity's relationship with the divine.
So we know from the earlier chapters that Enoch has these amazing visions, right?
Right.
He travels to heaven, learns all these cosmic secrets.
Mm-hmm.
But in these final chapters, there's a noticeable shift.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's burdened by what he's seen.
Yeah, it's like the weight of this knowledge, especially the contrast between the beauty of the divine realm and then all the wickedness he sees back on earth.
Right.
It transforms him into this fiery prophet. He becomes this voice of warning,
Okay.
delivering these pronouncements of woe upon those who have strayed from righteousness.
And he doesn't hold back on the imagery, does he?
No.
Like, it's some pretty intense stuff.
It's very vivid, very intense.
Yeah, mountains descending on mountains. Horses wading in the blood of sinners.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is, and that intensity is deliberate,
Yeah.
Enoch isn't just talking about these abstract concepts of sin.
Right.
He's outlining the very real consequences of greed oppression
Yeah.
and forgetting the divine in pursuit of material wealth and power.
Okay.
It's a stark reminder that actions have repercussions, even if they seem to go unnoticed in the moment.
That's what I find so compelling about this,
Yeah.
It's like he's holding as a mirror to humanity saying, look, this is where your choices are leading you.
Exactly.
It's a timeless message about accountability that still resonates today.
Absolutely. And it's not just individuals facing judgment either.
Oh, right.
Enoch talks about entire nations and even angels being held accountable for their actions.
That's right. And there's this whole fascinating angelology in the Book of Enoch, right?
Yeah.
With angels playing specific roles in carrying out divine justice.
Mm-hmm.
We see the familiar figures like Michael and Gabriel.
Right.
But also these angels of punishment who are unique to this text.
That's a key point.
Yeah.
The Book of Enoch presents this very structured view of the angelic realm
Okay.
with different ranks and responsibilities.
Okay.
And these angels of punishment really highlight the severity of divine justice
Yeah.
and the consequences of straying from the path of righteousness.
So while there's this sense of impending doom, I also get the feeling that Enoch isn't just trying to scare people.
Yeah.
Like there's a deeper message here.
You're picking up on something crucial there.
Okay.
The Book of Enoch, while filled with apocalyptic imagery,
Yeah.
is ultimately a message of hope.
Okay.
Alongside these vivid descriptions of judgment, there's also this contrasting vision of what awaits the righteous.
Okay.
It's not just about avoiding punishment, it's about embracing a different way of being.
So for those who choose righteousness,
Mm-hmm.
what does Enoch offer them in this tumultuous world?
Well, he speaks of a pleasant land where they'll find peace and healing.
Okay.
A world cleansed of wickedness, where they'll wear garments of life that never age.
Wow, that imagery is powerful.
It is.
Like a promise of eternal renewal and a world restored to harmony.
Exactly. And remember those books of heaven we mentioned earlier?
Yeah?
Well, in Enoch's vision, the names of the righteous are inscribed within them,
Okay.
ensuring their place in this new creation.
Okay.
It's this powerful affirmation of their worthiness and their enduring connection to the divine.
It's striking to me that even though we're talking about the apocalypse and judgment,
Mm-hmm.
there's this real sense of beauty and hope woven through it all.
Yeah.
It's not just fire and brimstone,
Right.
but about the possibility of a world transformed,
Yeah.
a world where goodness ultimately prevails.
You've hit on a vital aspect of the Book of Enoch there.
Okay.
It's not just a warning.
Yeah.
It's a call to choose a different path.
Okay.
A path that leads to a future filled with hope and renewal.
So if we're going to truly understand this journey towards judgment and renewal,
Yeah.
we need to talk about a concept that might sound a bit strange at first.
Okay.
Dividing history into weeks.
Weeks?
Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
It sounds intriguing.
Okay, so in chapter 93, Enoch lays out this framework of 10 weeks of history,
Okay.
each week representing a significant era in human existence.
So each week marks a major development or shift in the human story.
Exactly. And he highlights key figures who mark these eras: Adam, Noah, Abraham.
All right. right.
He even delves into specifics about what happens in the ninth and 10th weeks,
Interesting.
where things get really prophetic.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. What does Enoch reveal about those final weeks?
Well, fasten your seatbelts, because the ninth week
Okay.
marks the time when judgment is revealed to the world.
Okay.
It's this period of reckoning where the consequences of humanity's actions become undeniable.
So it's like the lead up to the final act.
Yeah.
The moment of truth before everything changes.
Yeah, and then in the 10th week,
Yeah.
something extraordinary happens. A new heaven appears.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like a cosmic reset button is pressed, paving the way for new creation.
So this concept of the weeks, it's a way of understanding God's plan for humanity unfolding over time,
Right.
with those last 2 weeks representing the culmination of everything.
Absolutely. It's a journey through judgment, punishment, and ultimately a new creation where righteousness prevails.
This framework of weeks is fascinating
Yeah.
because it gives structure to this otherwise complex and multi-layered apocalyptic narrative.
Right.
It helps us understand how these events might unfold,
Mhm.
offering a roadmap through this period of immense change.
And speaking of change, we're going to take a pause here.
Okay.
Don't worry, though, we'll be back with part 2 to explore even more incredible revelations from the Book of Enoch,
Sounds good.
delving deeper into what awaits both the righteous and the wicked in these final chapters.
I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into the Book of Enoch.
Picking up right where we left off, exploring those final chapters packed with prophecies and warnings.
And if you recall, we're zeroing in on chapters 96 to the very end, where Enoch really lays out his vision of what's to come, both for the wicked and for those striving for righteousness.
Exactly. Last time we talked about Enoch's role as this prophet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Delivering some pretty stark warnings about straying from a righteous path.
And those vivid descriptions of punishment for those who choose wickedness,
Right.
the abyss, the burning valley, it's powerful imagery meant to make you stop and think.
It definitely does. But it's not just about striking fear into people's hearts, is it?
Right, there's a deeper purpose to these warnings.
Yeah.
If we connect it to the broader context of the book, we see that it's ultimately a call for humanity to return to righteousness.
Okay.
It's about contrasting the fate of the wicked with the blessings that await those who choose a different path.
Okay, so let's talk about those blessings. What does Enoch say awaits those who choose righteousness?
Well, remember that pleasant land we mentioned.
Yeah.
It's more than just a physical location. It represents this state of peace and harmony, a world cleansed of wickedness where the righteous can truly thrive.
And they get to live there for eternity, wearing those garments of life that never decay? It's a powerful image of everlasting renewal.
It is, and it speaks to this profound yearning within humanity for a world free from suffering and decay.
Yeah.
But it's not just about individual salvation either. Enoch talks about the restoration of all creation.
Okay.
He envisions this new heaven and a new earth where justice and righteousness are the guiding principles.
So it's almost like he's giving us a glimpse of this utopian future, a world where the wrongs of the past have been set right.
Yes. And in this future, the righteous aren't just passive observers.
Okay.
They have this active role to play in upholding justice and righteousness.
Okay.
They become, in a sense, co-rulers with God in this new creation, ensuring that harmony and goodness prevail.
So it's not just about escaping punishment, it's about participating in something much larger than themselves, something truly transformative.
Exactly. And that's what I find so compelling about the Book of Enoch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was written thousands of years ago, it speaks to this deep human desire for a world where justice triumphs, where good overcomes evil, and where we have the opportunity to be a part of something truly meaningful.
It's this powerful reminder that our choices matter, that we have agency in shaping not just our own destinies, but the future of the world around us.
Precisely. And those consequences aren't just material or limited to our earthly lives.
Right.
They have a spiritual dimension that extends beyond what we can see and touch. Enoch constantly emphasizes the importance of aligning ourselves with the divine will, with those eternal principles of justice and righteousness that transcend time and space.
It's a call to action, isn't it?
It is.
Like a challenge to look inward and ask ourselves, what choices am I making? Am I living in a way that contributes to a more just and righteous world?
Yes, and it's a call that continues to resonate with us today. Even in our modern world, those questions about right and wrong, about justice and accountability, they're still incredibly relevant.
Mm-hmm.
They're at the core of what it means to be human.
Okay, before we get too philosophical, let's bring it back to the Book of Enoch.
All right.
We talked about those weeks of history with the 9th and 10th weeks representing judgment and renewal.
Yeah,
But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to explore.
and that is...
The figure of the Messiah.
Okay.
Remember how in those final chapters, Enoch keeps mentioning this chosen one who will come to judge the wicked and usher in that new creation we've been talking about?
Ah, yes, the messianic figure. It's a recurring theme in apocalyptic literature, this idea of a divinely appointed leader who will set things right and restore balance to the world.
And in the Book of Enoch, this chosen one is described in some pretty remarkable terms.
Oh,
He's described as pre-existent, meaning he existed before the world was created.
wow, that's a fascinating detail. It suggests a level of power and authority that goes beyond any earthly ruler.
Right?
This is a being who embodies divine will and purpose.
Exactly. And he's not just a judge either.
Okay.
He's also depicted as this source of wisdom and healing. Enoch says that in the Messianic age, the fountains of wisdom shall flow, and the just shall drink from them.
I see.
It's not just about punishment and retribution, but about restoration and enlightenment.
So the Messiah brings a new era of peace and understanding, not just through judgment, but through a profound shift in consciousness and awakening to a higher truth.
And that's where the real hope lies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just in escaping judgment, but in being transformed by the wisdom and grace of this Messianic figure.
Precisely, the Book of Enoch offers this vision of a future where justice prevails, where creation is renewed, and where humanity is elevated to a higher level of existence.
Yeah.
And this vision is made possible through the coming of the Messiah.
It's a powerful and inspiring message, even all these centuries later. It gives us something to strive for, something to hope for, even in the face of immense challenges and the knowledge of our own imperfections.
It does, and it challenges us to reflect on our own role in bringing about this kind of future.
Okay.
Are we aligning ourselves with justice and righteousness?
Yeah.
Are we seeking wisdom and understanding? Are we contributing to the healing and restoration of the world around us?
Those are big questions,
They are.
and ones that we can continue to ponder as we explore these final chapters of the Book of Enoch.
Now, these chapters can be pretty challenging.
Yeah,
They're full of symbolism and cryptic prophecies that can be difficult to decipher.
that's what makes it so intriguing. It's like a puzzle waiting to be solved, and each piece we uncover reveals a little more about Enoch's extraordinary vision.
So get ready to dive even deeper as we explore some of the more mysterious and challenging passages of the Book of Enoch.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on this journey through the prophetic visions of the Book of Enoch.
Yeah, and we've reached the final stretch now, focusing on those last chapters that are just so rich with symbolism and enigmatic prophecies.
It's like we've entered the bonus level of Enoch's visions, right?
Exactly.
Things get even more complex, even more layered.
They do. These chapters can be challenging.
Yeah.
But they also offer some of the most profound insights into Enoch's understanding of history, humanity, and the divine.
So last time we talked about the blessings awaiting the righteous and the role of the Messiah in bringing about this new era of peace and justice.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also this other side to Enoch's vision,
Right.
these strange and wonderful visions that he describes.
Like the vision of the animal apocalypse
Right.
in chapters 85 to 90.
You've probably never encountered anything quite like it.
Never.
It's wild.
It's wild.
Enoch sees all these different animals, bull, sheep, elephants,
Yeah.
interacting in these ways that seem to represent the rise and fall of nations and empires.
It's a form of symbolic language that was common in ancient apocalyptic literature.
Okay?
Animals were often used to represent different groups of people or political powers.
Okay, so it's like a code.
Exact.
And the way they interact, fighting, devouring, giving birth,
Yeah,
it's like Enoch's giving us these coded message about the course of history.
precisely. And within this animal apocalypse, we see that recurring theme of judgment and renewal.
Okay?
The wicked are often symbolized by predatory animals, while the righteous are depicted as lambs or sheep.
Okay, makes sense.
And there's this one scene where a great horn arises from among the sheep,
Oh, wow.
and it's been interpreted by some scholars as a symbol of a righteous leader.
Okay, so possibly a messianic figure.
Possibly, or perhaps a historical leader like Judas Maccabeus, who fought for religious freedom centuries before Enoch's time.
It's amazing how these ancient texts can speak to both historical events and these timeless spiritual truths.
Right.
They offer these multiple layers of meaning that continue to resonate with us today.
And that's part of what makes them so fascinating.
Yeah.
They invite us to engage with them on different levels,
Yeah.
to search for deeper meaning and connect them to our own lives and experiences.
So for us, the modern-day explorers of these ancient texts, what can we glean from these strange and symbolic visions?
Yeah.
Why should we care about prophecies written thousands of years ago?
Well, for one thing, they remind us that the human story isn't this straight line of progress.
Right.
It's this tapestry woven with these threads of conflict, judgment, and renewal.
Like those cycles we see in nature.
Yeah.
The changing seasons, the ebb and flow of life. the constant interplay of creation and destruction.
Exactly. The Book of Enoch is telling us that these cycles are also part of human history,
Hmm.
and that we need to be aware of them, to learn from the past and make choices that lead to a more just and compassionate future.
So it's a reminder that we're not these isolated individuals living in a vacuum.
Right.
We're part of a larger story, a cosmic drama that's been unfolding for millennia.
And we have a role to play in that drama.
Okay?
Our choices, our actions contribute to the shaping of the world, for better or worse.
So even though the Book of Enoch was written centuries ago, its messages about justice, righteousness, and the fragility of human civilization still resonate powerfully today.
Absolutely. It challenges us to think deeply about the kind of world we want to create for ourselves and for generations to come.
Yeah.
A world where compassion and understanding triumph over greed and violence.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on this deep dive into the Book of Enoch. It's been a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
It's given us a glimpse into this different way of seeing the world and our place within it.
It's been a pleasure exploring these profound ideas with you, and I hope our listeners have found it just as insightful and thought-provoking.
And to everyone listening out there, thank you for joining us on this journey. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking those deeper truths that connect us all.
Until next time, keep diving deep. CICR.